Hello and welcome to a special edition of Video Games to the Max, where we have just finished watching. Well, it's been about an hour after the event, but I just finished watching the Nintendo Switch presentation show. They've also announced things after the show has ended, like accessory price that they did not talk about during the show, which I'm sure after we reveal these prices, that's probably a reason why they didn't talk about it. But I'm your host, Sean Garmer, here with me, as usual, Mr. Marc Morrison.
Howdy.
And joining us here, Mr. Randy Isbelle.
You guys are lucky. I almost fell asleep through that thing.
Yeah, so what was worse at times, the Square-Enix conference or this one?
I think we just learned that the Japanese should not hold their own press conferences.
They
Yeah,
should at least get Reggie to do the voiceover if they do.
I wonder if he really knows Japanese enough to be able to do that, though.
Yeah,
Like,
but they're not speaking off the cuff. Like they rehearse this thing and they just give them like a script and
apparently
say,
not,
read this.
because that one translator couldn't say anything that Suda51 was talking about. All I heard was blah 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 Travis touchdown, blah 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 wrestling, blah blah. Okay, whatever. I got that much. But so I guess general thoughts before we kind of get into what they actually showed little by little here. What did you think about the overall press conference lasting an hour, and what you got to see here? Mark, what do you think?
I thought it was fine, except like they didn't get into games until 25 minutes into this thing, which is kind of scary when you think about it. And now that like it ended, now everything is actually coming out about like specifications and prices and like what games are going to be available like the day of. So like it was informative to an extent, but nothing that was like mind blowing. And they should have gotten into like real nitty gritty stuff, and they didn't. And some of the games looked good, and some looked not so good.
What do you think, Randy?
Well, I think this press conference was just, the problem with this press conference was the problem they had back in December when they had that first one, where we came out of that one going, well, we've learned nothing. And they're going, okay, we won't say anything until next year. If they would have just came out with all of the specs about the system and the controllers, and this is how all this works, and this is the price, and this is the release date, and then this could have been all about games, and thrown that out there, I think it would have flowed a lot better. But instead, here you go with them going, okay, well, they mostly know about the system and all that, but they want to know price and they want to know release date. So here's your two big things that you need in the first 3 minutes of this presentation. But, we don't have a ton of games right now because, developers are still trying to get with this, and we definitely push this out really quick. So here's a bunch of developers out here to talk for 10 minutes about a game that they have nothing to show.
Yeah, it was really awkward. Just like I just don't understand the point of this. Doesn't have to be an hour if you don't have an hour of material. If it's got to be 45 minutes, it can be 45 minutes. I mean, I don't know. Maybe they're showing this on TV in Japan, and that's something we're not accounting for here. We're just watching this on a stream in a different country. But let's say that you are just showing this through stream only. I don't understand why you're having developers come out there and just talk about things, and they're really not telling you anything about the game either, other than Splatoon when those guys talked or whatever. But so first thing they reveal, it's March 3rd, 2017, which is 6 weeks away. That's really fast.
It's so crazy.
And $299.99 the price, and there is no different SKU that has a different price. Now, they might have a SKU later that has a game inside, like Zelda inside or whatever, that'll wind up costing $349 or whatnot. But right now, all you get is there's a SKU with colored controllers and there's a SKU with just black controllers. And that's it. I mean, and it's a global launch. They all launch the same day. There's no Japan gets it for a month, and the U.S. gets it for this, and it's all the same day. So what do you think about just it's this quickly, March 3rd? The price? Do you think the price is fair?
No.
No. Well, why? So $299 is too much.
It's a 32 gigabyte hard drive or storage. That's crazy.
Yikes. That's terrible.
I mean, it'll have like the micro SD card slot, but holy shit! Like,
which those are cheap.
Yeah, but still, unless they include a 64 gigabyte card inside, like, what?
Well,
and
they did. Go ahead.
Go on. Well, also the one of the issues is like Android does not use micro SD cards well. It wasn't until like the latest version of Android that they finally got it working together. So unless this is running that thing, it might have issues. Like, look at how the PS4 handles external drives. Like, it doesn't really.
Right. Yeah, you have to undo that little slot in there and put the PS4, put the internal drive and all that.
No, I meant external drives. Like, you can't.
Well, that's what I'm saying. It can't run it off an external drive like the Xbox One can. You have to do it. You have to change your internal drive in order to get more memory.
So I think you'll be able to like download games onto the card, but then to like run it off to run them, you have to copy it over to the internal memory of the device, and that'll be bad.
That's annoying.
I think it's just too expensive. Like, I think $250 would be better. I mean, because other tablets of this type that are like honestly better are cheaper.
What do you think, Randy?
Well, again, I think they pinned themselves into a hole because that's all we heard rumor-wise for the last few weeks was $249. So now we hear $300. It's like, no, $249 would have been better. $300 is fine. Yes, the memory size is not great. I'm more curious, again, because they didn't really delve into it. Are they planning on using the cloud system a ton in this? So if they do like the retro stores, is all of that going to be stored in the cloud? Because obviously you're going to fill the stuff extremely quickly, especially if you want to like download Skyrim, let's say. Is that going to take up your entire memory? Is that the only game that you're going to have on your Switch? So it's that
how
to me worries
big was it on 360? Because that's probably the memory we're looking at.
9 gigabytes. But think about the DLC and they had like a high-res texture pack. That was more.
Yeah, so you're looking at at least half your system if you get the digital version.
Yeah, it's steep for that. So I'll say that. And as far as what Mark said about their tablets that are cheaper that run better, we're going to get into this here in a minute. But I think the reason they hit $300 is the controllers are so expensive. And I guess it's because of the extra rumble features that they're claiming that you could tell extremely subtle details in it. Obviously, we haven't gotten our hands on it, so we can't tell you whether they do or not. But for as expensive as they are, they better work at what they're saying.
Yeah, and I should note that we are doing this, again, right after the press conference ended. We're not doing this with the knowledge of what they're supposed to do tomorrow, which is allow certain, big game websites and all that stuff to be there in New York and get to have hands-on time with the Switch. You would hope that they allow you to do the whole taking out of the dock and all that kind of stuff. So we have someone to be able to say, hey, this is what it feels like, all that kind of stuff. So at the beginning, they kind of announced that. At the end, they announced to you what comes in these SKUs. You get one console, which is the actual tablet thing that you pull out of the dock. You get the dock, you get the grips, you get straps that look very much like the Wii straps that come on your Joy-Cons. You get the 2 Joy-Cons, you get an HDMI cable, and you get an AC adapter. They did say that it does charge with a micro USB, the same charger you would use for your cell phone if you have an Android or Galaxy or whatever phone. If you have an iPhone, you're kind of screwed on that. But, you can buy those for really cheap. Obviously, the quality of what you have with those is how quickly it charges your device. You can play it just like the 3DS while it's charging, so that's another positive, I guess. And they said the battery life is anywhere from 2.5 to 6.5. And the Nintendo press release says you can play Legend of Zelda for 3 hours before your battery will die. So,
did they say if it was a replaceable battery or not?
I'm pretty sure, just like with the 3DS, you can buy. There will be third-party battery packs or whatever that you can buy. But obviously, they're not going to encourage you to go buy a third party. Obviously, so I obviously at CES they already had a bunch of different accessories for that thing. So I'm sure we'll get to see more of that stuff later. But I'm surprised. I thought some of the stuff would go, like I didn't know if we'd get the grips in one of these things. I'm kind of glad that they're kind of putting all this together. So when you put that together along with what they said, which is these Joy-Cons now have an HD rumble, which allows you to supposedly feel what it's like to feel ice coming into a glass. And
does it have like a blower inside of it? Like, I didn't know what the hell he was talking about when he was. It sounded like he was like having a stroke when he was talking about that. Like, I'm like, is this Arctic Thunder again? Like, what are you talking about?
Okay, so his deal was that, yeah, you could feel ice, like you could sense the amount of ice cubes that are going in the glass, and it could tell you how many are in there. I don't really know that they could really grasp this very well without you actually getting to feel that, I guess. But
well,
yeah,
the way I took it, I mean, obviously he was using that as a metaphor. The way I took it is most Rumble packs, especially back in the day, just had the one motor in it, so it just would rumble from one spot. From what I took from there is this is going to rumble in multiple spots on your controller. So you can feel if you get hit at the front part of your hand or the back part of your hand. So that's where if you shake a cup of ice, you can feel it in different parts of the glass. So that's where I kind of understood where that was coming from. Now, in what games is that really going to matter is
in that ARMS game,
me,
I could see it mattering because you'll feel when you're doing the punch, like what part of your hand's doing the punch, what part of you's getting hit, so you're feeling that in the controller. Which that game is not a launch game, by the way. That game comes in the spring. Just so people know that I thought it would be the 1-2 thing. What you guys think of that? That looked like the most Wii game they possibly had.
It looked like
1-2 Switch thing.
It looked like I always, when they were just showing all the things really quick, I was waiting for them to say it's a WarioWare game.
Right.
That's what it looked like. It's just a bunch of little mini games, which is fine for a launch title. I mean, Wii Sports was super popular, and that's what I thought this was going to be. It's going to be very popular with families, and this is, to me, obviously this podcast is for more hardcore gamers, and yes, this is kind of the black sheep of it as far as hardcore gamers go. It's PC and PS4 and Xbox One, and this Nintendo consoles for babies. But honestly, that 1-2 Switch game is going to be a system seller. One of us buys it, we take it to a family, like, look at these goofy games we can play, and the next thing you know, your grandma's buying it.
I'll disagree on 2 points, really. The Rumble stuff makes sense for them to an extent, but past consoles have had multiple Rumble motors in their controllers. I mean, hell, the PS1 Rumble controller had 2 motors in it, for God's sakes. And they've always been like that. Only the Nintendo ones have only had 1. So that's weird. And that 1-2 thing, I think Wii Sports worked because people know what tennis was or knew what baseball was or whatever. They won't know what this is. Like, I got a feeling it'll be like a WarioWare game, but it won't like have like the family mass market appeal that a Wii Sports will have.
Yeah. What did you guys make of the whole? You'll see it from where you're looking at the other person's eyes. And you're gonna be able to tell when you need to press the button because it's supposed to be like kind of like you're dueling if you were cowboys back in the old west or whatever. Right?
So
I feel like that's also a metaphor, but
if I lose, should I just punch the other person then?
It might happen. I was waiting for him to announce a rock paper scissors game because they were showing that the sensor at the front of your controller can sense whether you're doing that motion. So I'm sure that's in there.
It'll be a $60 rock paper scissors 40-hour RPG made by Square
with some weird name.
Final Fantasy. Insert Latin here.
I still think this game is what will come with the bundle.
Yeah, but how many games will it be? Like,
I don't know.
That looked like maybe about 4 or 5. There is a Super Mario Sports Stars or whatever that's coming in the spring as well. So that's probably going to be more like your Wii Sports or whatever game that you'll get there. This is kind of like that tech demo that if you're trying to show it to the family, hey, this is what this thing can do. Whether you've seen the Wii or you didn't, it's going to kind of remind you of that. Which that's what this felt like. It felt like a lot of the early part of the presentation felt like hey guys, remember that thing, the Wii, that was like super successful for us? We're kind of going back to that, but this looks better. Did you guys kind of get that vibe a little bit?
Yeah, I did, and I think that's just kind of what you're going to see from Nintendo for a long time. And I think if you're expecting anything else, you don't realize what made them the most money. They're trying their best to kind of mold both worlds and have the Pro controllers for people that don't want motion controls, and they're bringing in games like Skyrim, and they're going to try to branch out a bit more and not just be niche, but it's always going to have that niche kind of feel to it.
Yeah, I think them trying to go to the Wii is kind of sad in a way. The Wii was their most successful console, but they did that with the Wii U. I mean, look at the name for God's sakes, and that thing bombed harder than.
But I never got that from the Wii U, other than the fact that you could still use the remote controller. So when I looked at that thing, all they were telling me was about TV, and oh, look at this ugly-looking tablet, and oh, you can play away from the TV, and that's all I ever got from the Wii U. Like, this literally...
Well, what do you think the Switch is? It's an ugly-looking tablet that you can play away from the TV.
Right, but this is a much better version of what the Wii U was supposed to be, while we're also reminding you that, hey, we've got, like, souped-up Wii Remote controllers, too, that do better things.
Make it so you can't put it in any type of bag whatsoever, or any type of pocket.
Yes. Well, that looks
I'm
small
sure they'll
enough
have
to
their
maybe
own
fit in a
bag.
pocket.
I still don't like those controllers whatsoever.
Yeah, the controllers look like they're going to take a lot to get used to. They are small. If you have any kind of big hands, I can imagine that's going to be really clumsy to play.
I just don't like that they're off-center. Like, that looks bad to me.
I mean, I don't know how you could have done that with having them both on the same side and you're trying to sort of have different things on both sides of the controller.
I would say don't have that crap that most people won't care about.
But then you're also limiting what games you can have on the system, though.
Yeah, but how many games are going to take advantage of that stuff?
Well, Nintendo's going to take advantage of it.
Yeah, them, and that's it. No one else will.
Well, yeah, but look at a lot of the games that were shown either in large part or in small part. All those games are games that doesn't look like it's very complicated for them to play. So they're not going to take advantage of it at all. It's going to be games that are made after launch that are going to really take advantage of that. So I mean, they announced a couple of things that are sort of important here. No region lock. That's the first time ever for a Nintendo console. And they announced that they're going to start you off free, but in the fall they will introduce a paid streaming service. A paid, not streaming service, a paid online service. And pretty much kind of made it seem like, and in looking at the press release here, it also makes it seem like it is legit a free trial, and then you will have to pay, like every other online service that exists right now, PSN, Xbox Live. Are you kind of in the mode of good that Nintendo's getting with the program, or do you think this is going to hurt them because people are used to online being free with Nintendo products? And what do you think of them? They still, doesn't seem like it's in the system. They're now, at least they're kind of asking you to use something that you always have with you, but chat, matchmaking, all that's on your phone. It's not on the system, it seems like.
That seems dumb. That seems bad. Because if it's supposed to be a friendly, kid-focused console, it's like, no.
Well, but a lot of kids have phones now, though.
Yeah, but not every kid.
Right. But
So see, you just said what the solution was. Nintendo figured out how to make sure that you're not playing 12-year-olds in Splatoon and having to listen to them yell at you the whole time without going, hey, 12-year-olds, you're not allowed online. They just put it on the phone and make sure that the kids don't have a phone, and then you're done with that situation.
I think given how bad Nintendo's bungled the Wii and the Wii U online, like asking people to pay is a real risky gamble.
you'd have to assume there's going to be more to this. It's not just paying, right? Like, there has to be...
Well, they have this, like, I don't know if you saw, but it's like I think you get like a free NES and a free SNES game when you pay, and the SNES game is supposed to have online play. But
Oh, wow. I didn't see that, no.
the question I have for that is this going to be like what PS Plus and Xbox Gold do? Like, they tell you what game it is, or can you pick it from a catalog? And
it's only going to be retro games, though? That seems kind of counterintuitive, too.
And given how anemic... Oh, sorry.
I was just going to say, because I don't know if this is even real or whatever, but I'm sitting here talking to Wes while we're doing this podcast, and he's on a forum where they're saying that the games that you're getting for that month are only free for that month.
Yeah.
It's not like PS Plus, where if you have it for that month, as long as you continue to have PS Plus, you have that game. It's once that month is over, that game goes away.
Oh, wow. That's really dumb.
And given
that I don't like.
Given how anemic the Wii U was with like virtual console stuff, like they couldn't even get that working right. So
you see, that's exactly why, right there, they're doing that. Because I'm pretty sure there's still going to be a virtual console, and they want you to buy those games again. That's why they don't want to do the whole letting you have the game the whole time, because then that takes away from the virtual console.
Yeah, but they never got the virtual console working correctly on the Wii U. I mean, that thing only has 300 games on it.
You're right,
total.
But if you're paying for this, then it's on them to make sure the virtual console works this time.
Yeah, and the one thing that is good about this, it's you're getting it for free for like the first 6-7 months, and then hopefully by then they can see, okay, what is working, what's not, and they're not going to go, okay, you have to pay it right off the bat, and then the whole thing is shit. So hopefully either they could figure it out in the first 6-7 months, or we will figure out in the first 6-7 months that it's not worth it to play online anyways. So I won't even have to pay for the service.
I think asking people to pay for like Super Mario World on Virtual Console for the third time, that's bogus to me.
That's
well, they almost have to. They almost have to because they split the virtual consoles, right? Like, I just don't see how Nintendo's going to go, okay, well, you bought it on the 3DS. well, it wasn't on the Wii U, so you don't get it on your Switch. But if it was on the Wii U, you do. Or like, I don't know. Maybe they do come up with a solution. I mean, it's not like, Microsoft figured it out, so Nintendo could, but Nintendo could easily just go the Sony route and say, no, we'll make you pay for it again. But this time, because now we have the Nintendo Network and your My Nintendo ID, now all this stuff travels with you or whatever going forward, whatever they want to say, But, I mean, hearing that's kind of weird, but after thinking about it, it looks like they're probably still going to have this virtual console thing, and they're going to want to make sure that sells, especially considering that, they've said time and time again they don't want this to replace the 3DS. So
see, I don't think they care if it sells or not. Like that's you say that, but look at like what they've done to it for the Wii U. Like they did not learn their lesson with the Wii, and you going, oh, we have to pay for it now. It's like, yeah, but that still gives them no incentive to actually fix the damn thing.
Well, the thing's messed up, but they're still having games come out for it. Didn't Pokemon Snap just come out? I mean, like...
Yeah, that was 2 years after the fact, or 2 years after anyone gave a shit about the Wii U.
I agree, but they're still releasing games for the actual virtual console. Like, if you're into rebuying all those games and not playing them on emulator, you have them there for yourself. I mean, I think it's dumb that now you have to go back and play them on the Wii U, but we're kind of stuck like that with the PS3, where we had to go back and play old games that may not or are not on the PS4 yet. So, I mean, they introduced all the different ways you can play the Nintendo Switch, which we already know. Pretty much you could tell in the trailer. They did say that there's a share button that lets you take screenshots, something that you already have if you have other systems. And eventually, it's going to include some form of video. Which, yeah.
Do you want to take odds on how long that'll take to actually to get that working?
I bet I wouldn't be surprised if it doesn't start working until we have to pay for the online.
I would say 2 years.
Jesus. You might as well not even introduce that if it takes 2 years. Jeez.
Or it'll be like some like proprietary system that like only Japan uses. So you have to sign up for some fucking account. Like it won't be like Twitch or Ustream. It'll be like some weird off.
Well, no, yeah, it'll be this be part of your Nintendo ID or part of the Nintendo network or whatever. Yeah, it's. And then somehow it will work with YouTube and something else.
I don't know if it'll work with YouTube.
I mean, so that they know, so they can put their ads on there, probably. I'm sure.
Yeah.
I hate that we're sounding so cynical on this. That's how Nintendo works with these things, sort of. I mean, who knows? Maybe they figured out how to play nice. But are you guys? They made a huge deal of the colored controls. How do you,
I think they're doing really good.
I know you kind of like them, Randy.
Yeah, just they were different. I'm with Mark. They look nice compared to the bland black controllers.
I want to get like crystal or see-through.
Yeah, I hope that they do make those. I love those on the N64s, like the see-through
Purple
controllers. Yeah, the see-through purple. That's the one I had. I had the see-through purple Game Boy Color too at one point. But so the first game that they actually showed that people actually, sort of knew something about, Splatoon 2. Not a Splatoon revamp or whatever. Like Mario Kart 8 is a Mario Kart Deluxe, whereas this is Splatoon 2, which they had the guy come out there and it supposedly has different guns and different like battle modes, and it's going to have in-game events because of the online. Didn't really get a whole lot, but if you like Splatoon, I'm sure you're excited about that. Plus, you got the 8-player local LAN that you can use if you find 8 people that all have a Switch somewhere. I guess.
Well, look at how well Street Pass does.
When the 3DS first came out, there was Street Pass everywhere. Now, obviously,
Eh,
when nobody's playing 3DS.
well, Street Pass only works when you go to conventions now.
Yeah.
Yeah, basically.
And then you just have to check it every 3 seconds because holy good grief. But
I mean, but who really goes
I,
around
I
carrying their 3DS in their pocket all the time?
that's about it. Only when you go to conventions. And that's what I can see with the Switch too. That whole 8-player local co-op. I mean, bigger cities it'll be easier. Stores can start having events based around it if they so wish. We say, hey, bring this down, and we're going to be playing this game today, and give out prizes or whatever. But mostly it's going to be a convention kind of a thing. I mean, if you ever go to a convention, a lot of people waiting for the next event that they want to go to or just sitting around. And I went to RTX last year, and they were playing the new Super Battle or Superhero game or whatever the hell that one was called. And everyone was playing that because it had just come out. Well, now everyone probably in their backpack have their Switch, and the next thing you know, you have a bunch of people playing Splatoon in the hallway of whatever convention they're at. It's interesting. I'm not saying it's going to be get used the most, but at least it's there.
Yeah, I think definitely having that opportunity is kind of cool, and that obviously they're going to set up online matches and stuff like that for us. Summer 2017 for that game. So I mean they kind of portioned some of these things out. Like you're getting Legend of Zelda at launch, as we kind of expected. You can get Mario Kart in the spring, along with that All Stars game. You can get Splatoon in the summer, and then the big sort of announcement from this show, games-wise, Super Mario Odyssey, where he literally starts in a city, jumps around on top of a city, goes into the forest, goes in the water, goes everywhere. Literally, he is going on an odyssey. All that was left was the boat.
It worked so well for Sonic Adventure.
Oh, no.
Oh,
Don't put
man.
Sonic Adventure on.
Come on. There was a Sonic game shown in the thing, but this is Mario. You know they're going to take kind of it. Go ahead.
I hope the sequel is called Super Mario Lost Odyssey.
The apparent gimmick of this one is that the hat has eyes and is alive. So we didn't really get anything other than the fact that the hat has eyes and it does stuff.
Oh, you mean the Minish Cap? Okay.
Hey, if it worked in one series, why not?
Well, I like the fact that, I mean, yeah, the hat alive is it's whatever, but the fact that it could be used as a weapon and or as a platform could really add some extra stuff. I mean, Mario has always been known as that game that you find fun ways for hidden items or for crazy speed running tricks. While we're doing this, I'm watching the Awesome Games Done Quick deal that they have going on. So, to me, I love the Mario presentation just for the fact that, yes, you had some cities that they were showing, but for the most part, each world looked completely different. Mm-hmm. And that's what I always liked about Mario. I mean, this one looked like it was Super Mario 64 for the next generation, where it's like, I'm just waiting for them to show paintings that he was jumping into.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it was such a cool, just myriad of different avenues he's going. Go ahead.
I was just going to say, it seemed that the hat seemed oddly gimmicky to me for some reason. Like, they keep introducing, like, one new thing. And I think the beauty of, like, Mario 64 was it didn't have any of those types of gimmicks.
Yeah, it's like GameCube with the backpack and the water.
Yeah.
Well, the N64 gimmick was 3D. I mean, that was the only gimmick you really had to have for that.
Yeah, but there's no, like, well, okay, I got a backpack now, and I got to clean off all this crap in the world. It's just collect the stars, and that's it.
Yeah, Galaxy had the whole, you're in the Galaxy.
Well, Galaxy had that whole, like, wand thing, or, like the hand.
Right, the motion control, yeah. I really enjoy the way it looks. It's going to be that game for the holidays that, everybody's buying. Are you sort of disappointed it's not a launch game or not a launch window game? Do you think it's... Obviously, you want to have that big game for the holidays. You think it's smarter the way they did it, or should it have been available closer to when it comes out?
Part of me is disappointed because obviously it would be awesome to start out the Switch with Mario and Zelda, and yes, we always want the next system to come out with a huge bang, but how many systems ever do? It's usually the launch title's pretty weak, but from what they showed, what little they showed really of the games in this press conference is like you said, they have it spread out decently enough where you're going to get your time with Zelda, and once you're done with that, then here's a couple games in the spring you can try, and once you get done with that, then we have Splatoon in the summer and Mario in the fall, and add Skyrim to whenever that comes out. So I think they spread out the first year decent enough where they may not have, like most Nintendo systems lately, they're not going to have a huge amount of great titles, but at least they're spreading them out better than you're waiting a whole year for each nice title so far.
Ooh, wow, I can get assets for all these games here. Which I'll talk about them in a second. There's... where's the one that actually has the... Okay, so they don't have anything for their third party. All Nintendo has on their site is their games, obviously. They also have this weird one called Snipper Clips. Cut It Out Together, which I think is some kind of puzzle game where you're literally... Okay, let me read you the... In this creative new kind of action puzzle game, players communicate, cooperate, and use their imaginations to solve basic and advanced puzzles by cutting paper characters into new shapes. People can play solo or with a friend in the main game, or bring a bigger group to solve 4-player dynamic puzzles. What is this, The Witness with paper?
I hope not. As long as the puzzles aren't as hard as The Witness.
I imagine not with it being a Nintendo game, but you did get their new Warriors take, which is going to be Fire Emblem this time instead of Zelda.
Totally fine with that.
Me too. I like the Zelda one, so I'm good with Fire Emblem getting...
My only question with this mix of Dynasty Warriors and Fire Emblem is if your character dies, is he gone forever? Because that's the gimmick for Fire Emblem. If a character dies in battle, he's dead.
Because, it's like really hard to die in Dynasty Warriors unless you just suck at the game.
It's been a long time since I played Dynasty Warriors. I'd probably suck if I tried it.
No, it's not hard to die specifically in Dynasty Warriors. It's hard to complete mission objectives when one objective is on one side of the map and the next one's on the other side, and it's like, well, I got a time limit.
Constant things that keep getting in your way.
Lu Bu would just get in your way. That's all I remember from those games.
Dragon Quest X, the MMO, I think, 11, and Heroes 1, which is already out, and Heroes 2 are all coming to the Nintendo Switch. The new Shin Megami Tensei game, which celebrates the 25th anniversary of that, which I'm sure that's also going to be coming to PS4 and all that. They're just making a big deal about it coming to Switch.
Maybe not, because there are some Shin Megami Tensei games that are just Nintendo exclusive.
What, the early ones that are on the Famicom?
No, the 3DS ones.
Oh, well, yeah, that's true. The Project Octopath Traveler, which is a 16-bit, sort of looks like cross between Chrono Trigger and some of the old Final Fantasies or whatever. That looks pretty awesome. Except that, where the hell does Square-Enix come up with these names?
They've run out of ideas.
It looked like I Am Setsuna 2 or something.
I Am Setsuna is also a game that was in that sizzle reel, so...
Yeah.
That's coming. You get the Sega, whatever the hell game the guy was talking about. No More Heroes 3, which all I heard was supposedly it has wrestling in it. That's all I can understand of the guy. A special FIFA, which I'm guessing it's going to have the downloadable roster things, and it's going to have upgrades or whatever, at least for the first year, and then they'll introduce FIFA 19 or whatever. Because they can't do FIFA 17 right now because you're pretty much half halfway through the season or when you would have been able to buy the game because the game normally comes out in September. And you get there's a DBZ game, there's a Disgaea 5 Complete.
Well, the DBZ game is just Xenoverse 2, probably.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
I mean, from like the stuff you saw of not the sizzle reel, but the stuff you saw of what they showed third party, a lot of Japanese stuff, obviously.
You forgot the most important game.
Puyo Puyo Tetris.
Yep.
Hey, I want to play that after you. I saw you playing it on that stream that one time. Looks fun. I'm not a big Tetris person, but
It's coming to PS4 and the Switch now. But the PS4 is only disc-based, not digital.
Wonder if it'll be like that for the Switch as well.
No, the Switch is digital, or you can buy it, But that's weird.
Yeah, that is. You get that Skylanders game. Sonic Mania is the one that's coming for Ultra Street Fighter 2, the Final Challengers.
With Evil Ken and Evil Ryu, or Violent Ken, or whatever the hell his name is.
Has Been Hero, Super Bomberman R, and Fast RMX. I will say that the Superman Bomberman R seems made for that multiple. Like if you're having the 8 Nintendo Switches, that's like one of those games I imagine. Oh, let's all play Bomberman. All right, go back to that. I mean, well, what did you guys think of the? No Activision huge presence. We did get the Skyrim, but are you okay with what they showed third party wise? Or are you still kind of skeptical about?
Well, the one thing I'll say is yes, we didn't get a ton of third party, and what we got from third party as far as the presentation went, where it's awful. But it gives me hope that maybe they're keeping the third party quiet until E3. Focus on the Nintendo stuff. Get Skyrim in there because hopefully that's an early launch window, not a launch title, but that spring summertime, and then go okay. Now we can really focus in on what we're coming out for holiday season, and here are all these third-party games that we can now show it to you. I can hope.
I think Skyrim is not going to do well on that thing. I think it looks like the original version of Skyrim. I don't know if it is or not, but some of the textures look pretty bad. But other than that, like most of the third-party stuff looked good.
NBA 2K18 officially. Now we finally get to know what basketball game that was. It was running on the Switch in the trailer. Steep is also coming. So if you didn't play Steep on the,
I don't think anyone played Steep.
Yeah, so I'm reading this. There's going to be an online lobby for this online thing. You can invite friends to play online, set play appointments, and chat with friends during online matches and compatible games from your smart device. Nothing about. So why can't we just have a headset, Nintendo? Is that a problem? Is that like something you guys cannot learn how to make?
Well, you can. You just have to put the headset to your smart device and get on Skype.
You just have to buy a Virtual Boy off eBay and hollow it out, and then.
Yeah, that was the one system they did not mention when they said we've taken something from every system. Obviously, didn't want anybody to think that they had VR.
They did. They took something from the VR. It's the kickstand. It's kind of like the legs from. No, I don't know. I'm trying to find something. The one thing that they did not, I'm surprised they did not mention, and they may talk about it more tomorrow or whatever, is Amiibo support. They were so all in on Amiibos. Those things so like
they did talk about the NFC being there.
Yeah, they held up like an Amiibo for a second, but that was it.
I missed it. But I was surprised it wasn't a bigger thing. Just to go, hey, the things that everyone bought, you can still use them. Even though I bought a bunch of them and have not used a single one. They're display things to me, but
exactly.
Maybe now they'll actually figure out a thing to do with those things.
who knows? I have my Pikachu, and that's the only one I ever bought. So, after I realized I couldn't even control my own Pikachu in Smash Brothers, I was like, okay, I'm never buying one of these. This is kind of pointless. All the little things that they give you to use these things for are really, really dumb. They are really just collectibles items masquerading as little special item things that they include.
And I'm okay with that, because they look cool.
I know, I'm totally okay with that too. Don't get me wrong. I just don't think that they should try to explain to you that, you can really do something
Oh,
with
yeah.
them there.
I agree.
Everybody's been waiting for that farming simulator. That's the one that you wanted to play on your Switch, right? That's supposedly coming to an.
Well, now I can have 8-player LAN supported farming simulator.
No, but see, you guys are missing the point. Now you can take your Switch and play Farming Simulator and go out to a farm and sit in the middle of it and then act like you're doing real work and get the whole smells and environment without actually having to do hard labor.
Exactly. That's what you need to be doing.
That'll only work on Farming Simulator VR.
That never comes to the Switch. Binding of Isaac Afterbirth Redout is coming to the Switch. So
good luck with Redout.
Is it bad?
No, it's impossibly hard to beat, or even I couldn't beat the second race of that game.
So it's not like the actual. It's a racing.
It's like F-Zero.
Oh,
but
okay.
If F-Zero is even more fucked on the difficulty scale.
On Xenoblade Chronicles 2 is also, that was the one big game they showed that actually makes the Switch look really pretty. The scale that they showed on that game is pretty awesome. Of seeing that thing fly across the screen.
What if they showed Bayonetta 3, or even just a port of 2? Would that be interesting?
I'd love to have it. Why not?
It'd be cool if they did Bayonetta 2 and they just add amiibo support.
Oh, finally, the Bayonetta amiibo is coming out. That was supposed to come out with the Wii U. And
I meant more whatever amiibo you just put on there, Bayonetta wears that costume. We all know the sexiest costume would be the Rob the Robot one.
That's only coming for the Japan. I'm pretty sure they're not going to have that come to over here. The totally scantily clad one or anything.
Well, it's no longer region locked, so you can still buy the Japanese version and play it on your American Switch.
Take that, everyone. If you want to go read Fire Emblem in Japan without the editing controversy, feel free.
Right. I think that's other than I'm going to mention these accessory charges that you're going to have to pay if you ever lose something that comes in your set here. Now, the Pro Controller that they showed costs $70. The Joy-Con controllers are sold separately, each one, the left and right, for $50 a piece, or you can buy the set for $80. So do not lose these things. Or I think there's a way you can have 4. So if you want to buy an extra set, there you go, $80. The grip is $30, so you don't want to lose that either. The dock is $90 if you ever lose that thing. And you can get a set of 2 Joy-Con wheels for $20. So, ouch. That's so hefty prices there, guys.
I think the only two that you said that didn't feel overpriced to me were the dock, because you would think that is a huge part of the system. Yeah, so I'm okay with $90 for that. That's okay. Wasn't it you couldn't even get the Wii U tablet for a long time? If you broke that, you were just screwed.
Ever.
Yeah, you can't still get that. Like
You still can't get. I stopped looking for a while. I've never needed one, but
I think like if you can call Nintendo support, they may sell you one. If like you sacrifice a goat to them or something, that's about it.
Yeah, you can never really buy it in the store. Yeah.
At least they're selling every part of the system, so that's great. But and the wheels are fine at $20, whatever. But everything else to me seems a bit overpriced. I think the Pro controllers, I'm even $10 off where it's $60. That's what most controllers are nowadays. So I'm okay with them selling that much.
Must be that HD Rumble in the controller or something.
Something, but a little overpriced on those. So I agree. Don't lose them, which is going to be tough because those little baby controllers look extremely tiny.
Yeah, if you're going to let the kids play with them, make sure you know where they are. Put those straps on them.
Yeah, it'd be nice if each controller had like a locator chip in it, so it's another fun game to play hide and go seek your controller out.
Just know where they are. I mean, I think honestly, I think they're justifying it with the Rumble. Yeah.
I think it's expensive, but also like controllers, like for every system now, are expensive. So
yes.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, we do have to remember that tomorrow they're going to probably announce a couple more things. We'll get to see. I'm assuming they'll show this on Twitch, whatever Treehouse or whatever the hell they want to call it, and let us see what the people are playing and all that kind of stuff. I would hope anyway, or at least the websites will probably show that themselves. So hopefully we get to see more of this stuff up close. And I mean, if not, I'm sure we'll all get to, whoever gets it at launch, get to experience it yourselves in about 6 weeks. Not too far in the distant future at this point. So, are you getting one? If you could get one at launch, would you get one?
If I didn't have to pay for it, sure.
Well, I mean, like, did this make you go, I want one now, not, oh, I'll wait till it's cheaper, or I'll wait till Mario comes out, or what? Would you be good buying it day one?
No, because the only game that looks worth a damn is Zelda.
Which you get day one, so there you go. You're getting it day one. No, no. Honestly, I was really hyped for this, and I think the press conference just heard it just for how boring it was. But I wasn't expecting it to come out and say, "Here's 10 games at launch, and we get Mario and Zelda and Skyrim and da 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 da." Yeah, I figured it's going to be a little underwhelming there, but yeah, I'm probably still going to get one. Day one or not, I'm still not completely sold on it. I'm glad Zelda's day one because I'm with Mark. That's the main game, and then I'm okay with Mario being later. But I will most likely buy the system. I'm just not quite sure day one or not.
I think the last Mario game that was day and date was Mario 64, right?
Yes, we've actually had more Zeldas be day and date with Nintendo's various systems than we have Mario. Or I think they might be tied at this point, because you have Mario with... I think Mario wasn't with the original NES. It came a little bit later, right? Because it was Duck Hunt and something else?
No, it was Mario.
Yeah, okay, Mario was there.
Mario was on the NES, SNES, and the 64. Then they realized, we don't have to have Mario. They had Zelda for the GameCube, Zelda for the Wii.
Zelda was in GameCube.
Or not, Zelda was the Wii, sorry.
Okay, yeah.
And then Zelda for the 3DS with the Ocarina of Time HD, and then Zelda for the Switch.
Yeah.
So, the GameCube have any? GameCube didn't have any of the big
games
at launch.
Yeah, Luigi's.
Oh, I had Luigi. Yeah. That's right.
Yeah.
So if people like that thing, like they should make another one of those.
I like that Luigi. I like that game.
They didn't mention anything about... I think the interesting thing is they didn't mention anything about real backward compatibility. Like, the rumored about, like, GameCube stuff. That was gone. That was not talked about at all. Like, that would get me at least a little interested.
Yeah, I mean, they've been working on a lot of this stuff, and I think, like, what Randy said...
I think the danger with GameCube emulation is you get 32 gigabytes of memory. That's not a lot.
No, you don't. I mean, obviously, at that point, if you're... I think they're going to assume that everybody's going to buy a micro SD card for this thing.
Yeah.
You know, I would hope so. Hopefully, it's very easy to put into your system. It's not this overly complicated thing. You just goes in the slot and it reads it and it takes it off there, just like the 3DS. Once it's in there, everything comes off of there and you have no problems. I think mostly it's just kind of like, okay, we got a taste. Let's see at launch, and then let's see at E3 what they got, because we still have no Metroid, no Donkey Kong, no some of the other big franchises not talked about here, so still got plenty of that in the can, obviously. And no Smash Brothers, if that's getting ported or not either.
You do have New Donk City from Mario, so there you go.
Quite possible. So, alright. So that's going to do it for us here. Talking about the Nintendo Switch deal. I mean, we'll probably just go on the regular night unless something big comes out during the show, whatever they show tomorrow or over the weekend or something. Probably going to be on the regular Wednesday or around there-ish day. So thank you, Randy, for being on with us here.
Yeah, no problem.
And everybody, we will see you guys later.
Later.
The following podcast is a W2M Network original production. Visit W2Mnet.com for all of our other great podcasts, plus news, reviews, articles, and opinions from the worlds of wrestling, video games, football, and entertainment.